Hi, everybody. I tried to put on a chill list. Actually, it's... There we go. A little bit more chill. And of course, the song that flips over the moment I hit go live was a lot more wild. But hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live stream. As always, we're going to give it a couple minutes, let people jump in, let people join us. We got a nice cozy stream today. It's April vibes, April energy. At least for me out here in the Midwest, that means cold, cold nights. And maybe if we're lucky, a warm day. Hi, Shane. The amazing Shane is here with us, as always. Hi, Bergamot Studio from Japan. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's noon over there. I appreciate that. Middle of lunchtime. Hi, Guy Fox. Welcome, welcome. Give it another minute or so, but we got quite a few people hopping in and enjoying this. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, and welcome. So we're looking at a couple cool things today in this stream, and stuff that has splintered off and started coming up with new ideas for, at least for me, to create some new content. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's cut the music. At least make it nice and low. Just very faint in the background. Hi, everybody. Once again, hello and welcome to the weekly METATAILOR live stream. Today we're looking at parametric clothing along with a couple things. I had a really interesting week last week. I want to tell you guys about it. I want to tell you about some of the ideas I got coming down the pipeline and get your feedback on it, get your thoughts on it. But once again, hello and welcome. This is our weekly live stream. We run Saturdays at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to see more of this, if you'd like to see more of the content we create, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, follow along with us on YouTube, as well as join our Discord server. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for our Discord server right here in the chat. Feel free to join it. Our Discord server is an amazing place. Copy and paste. Pop. I'm going to drop that at the end of the stream as well. Our Discord is home to where I live. That is our kind of customer service hub. That's if you have any questions, concerns, quandaries, you can ask it there. Us or members of our community will be happy to answer that for you. We've got experts in Maya and ZBrush and Unreal and all those other things in there as well. So feel free to drop in there and join that community. On top of that, the Discord runs bi-weekly polls. We run monthly sweepstakes. We run AMAs out of there every now and then. So feel free to join that Discord to get some of that stuff. Our sweepstakes usually have some good stuff. At the very least, it's always been a year of pro, and I believe we have a winner. I believe it is the same guy Fox here, that we have a winner of our year of pro from our March sweepstakes. So we'll be gearing up for probably an April sweepstakes here very soon. So make sure you join that Discord and get that ready to go. I will, of course, say our number one complaint is our sweepstakes are for US only currently. Just the legal ramifications of getting it outside of the US, because some countries consider it gambling and stuff like that, is really tough. So we're working on it. I cannot promise any sort of time frame in which we will be able to extend that outside of the US, let alone extend that into North America. All of our brothers and sisters above and below us here in America. So currently it is US only, but we are trying our best, sorry, my headphones are making noise, as to get that to everybody we can. But those sweepstakes do run for our US watchers over our Discord, so make sure you join that. So, like I was saying, this week we're looking at parametric clothing. I was kind of coming up with an idea for this, and I thought, let's take a look at parametric clothing in Unreal, because a lot of people ask and say, how is METATAILOR different from parametric clothing? And we'd always lean to our friends at Form Studios who used both and said, METATAILOR just works better. It works faster. Parametric clothing is not something we're necessarily interested in using, and we took the word of Form Studios because they're a really strong, amazing studio. Please go take a look at their work. They're the ones that we featured the Battlefield trailer for a couple of, well, quite like a month ago now. They were with us at GDC, just really amazing guys who make really amazing work, but they were kind of explaining to us, but I never really dove into parametric clothing, and I still don't think I've scratched the surface of it because it's really complicated. It's neat, and you can create clothing that fits any meta-human body, or it adjusts to that meta-human body size. But from what I was watching, there's like 5 or 6 steps. Each of those steps take 5 to 10 minutes, and after 45 minutes of work, you can actually get your clothing into the meta-human creator, which we all know works super well, but we can get that into the meta-human creator, and then it'll adjust to those body sizes. So there's a lot of work behind it. So I downloaded some parametric clothing. I took it out of Unreal, and we're going to throw it on a meta-human character, and we're going to throw that over to Unreal through our bridge and kind of take a look at that. But that's not really diving into parametric clothing. So what I'm hoping to do is, this is kind of the first kickoff of me really looking at parametric clothing and possibly building a pipeline from METATAILOR into the parametric system inside of Unreal to make your life easier to create parametric clothing. Because there is an interest in creating parametric clothing. You've got a whole bunch of metahumans. If we can help you skip 4 or 5 of those steps still using METATAILOR, that's fantastic. I mean, overall, I think just using METATAILOR as the core and doing all the work for you is best, but there is something to be said about using this pipeline to fix parametric clothing. So we're going to play with parametric clothing a little bit. On top of that, because I don't think it's going to take the whole hour, and even if it doesn't, we're going to be doing a couple other things. I've got a wonderful raincoat because this whole month of streams is kind of April cozy vibes. Like I said, me out here in the Midwest, that it is like 30 degrees outside, if not a little bit lower. That's Fahrenheit. I know we got somebody from Japan, so it's pretty dang cold here. It's like 0 degrees Celsius here. It just fluctuates all the time. So April is very much a cozy month here in the US, so I'm going a little cozier. So we're gonna be looking at a raincoat because it's also the rainier season here. I've got, and then on top of that, the last thing we're gonna take a look at, I'm gonna take some extra special time for this, so we might go over our hour. On Monday, I joined a class from an amazing artist. I found this artist who was using Clo3D to bring in and create amazing pieces in Unreal Engine, but they weren't using METATAILOR. So I wanted to watch their class and see how they did it and see how maybe METATAILOR can benefit them. So I followed this master class, and let me show you some of the stuff that I have from them. Because this is kind of our community artist, because I want to give a shout out to this artist. This is another thing I'm hoping, more content I'm hoping to generate and create with them and work with them a little bit more closely to kind of understand their pipeline and get some really cool clothes, because truly great artist. So desktop plus me. So it's Dress Code 3D. This is the website. Whoa, I hit the wrong button. Dress Code 3D, there we go. Dress Code 3D. There's this amazing artist on here who's just making some really great clothes, and they're bringing it into Unreal, and they're making beautiful Unreal scenes using clothes, Here's their Instagram page. This is Mihaela. They are the owner of Dress Code 3D as far as I'm aware, and I got to talk to them a little bit. I didn't get a huge chance to talk to them this week, so I'm hoping to reach out to them. So this is a free little shout out. I hope to work with them a little bit more closely as we go forward, because truly their work is amazing. And I just stumbled across their Instagram page, so I wanted to give a huge shout out to Mihaela. This is an Unreal Engine. So it's really cool work that they're doing. They've got some really cool clothes, but what they've done is they have been so kind as to give me the clothes from the masterclass that I took with them. So we're going to take a look at a puffer vest they did in this masterclass and see if we can't get that into Unreal and get that onto one of our animated characters. So that's the last thing I'm going to do to kind of proof of concept that METATAILOR can help them out. And like I said, I'm going to create some videos for them. We'll share that on our YouTube page if they're willing to do that. But I wanted to give a shout out to that artist. So without further ado, I see Bergamot asked and at least a PayPal option. We're looking at that. I don't know, that is not my side of things, but that is feedback we have gotten. So we do take that PayPal feedback and we keep that. And we're working on how we can build that option. So all of these things are things that as the company grows, we're looking to incorporate and encompass, but I have no timeline on that. As soon as I do, though, watch these live streams. The first people who are going to find out about updates, like if we're going outside the US for our sweepstakes and PayPal options and other structures and stuff like that within METATAILOR, the first people to find that out are you guys here on this live stream, because this live stream is where we announce everything before it even hits the Discord usually. So make sure you follow these live streams to see that stuff. Let's jump into METATAILOR. Let's play with some parametric clothing. All right, let's go to desktop plus me again. I already had METATAILOR up. I'm gonna just cut the music because it is not going off it's playing Pop Queens and stuff like that by our copyright free music, and it's a little distracting. All right, so we've got METATAILOR open. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at some parametric clothing. And the parametric clothing I grabbed, you can grab off Fab as well. It is free. It is this streetwear parametric outfit. And so when I was looking for cozy outfits and stuff like that, I found this. I'm like, oh, those are pretty cozy. It fits this parametric theme that I'm looking for. But even just taking a look at it, I don't know if this is AI generated, probably, or AI adjusted, but you can see if it's not, there's some clothing issues in here that we don't get with METATAILOR. So it'll be interesting to play with and see this clothing in METATAILOR and get this over onto a MetaHuman in Unreal Engine. But this is the one we're messing with. That's the one I pulled. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with a new project. We'll start with a male mannequin, or male muscle, and we'll call it parametric. I am on our new version, 2.6.02. We did update this Thursday evening. So make sure you've got the newest version of METATAILOR. It's got some fun new things in there. We'll try to take a look at some of that stuff. So I've got our guy right here. I'm going to grab his body and just bring him down to a more reasonable size. He's very muscular. He's showing off, but I'm going to bring him down to a little bit more reasonable size here. And now let's go ahead and import that parametric clothing. So I hit import. It brought it over to my other computer right here. Let me go ahead and bring this back over. Here's our streetwear. And let's just start with the streetwear hoodie. And there it is. It's a nice piece. I looked at it. It's nice. It's low poly. It's well made. But outside of that, beside it just being a nicely made kind of FBX, there's nothing really special about this parametric clothing. All the specialness comes from the 30-45 minute setup inside of Unreal Engine. So I just wanted to show you how quick. So let's say it's 30 minutes. We're just starting this at 10:13. Let's see how fast I can get this in there, including adding all these textures. Hoodie does have a metalness, but there's nothing there. There's no AO. Okay. Next step. Jacket. I'm fine with that. Keep source dimensions. Nope. Next step. All right. Let's go ahead and get this onto our character. And like I said, I'm going a little fast because I want to beat that 30-minute clock that it would take to create parametric clothing in Unreal. It's not going to be hard. Even if I brought in all 3 items and was able to bounce them around, it wouldn't even take 30 minutes. But if I'm busy babbling and chit-chatting with you guys, it might take a little bit. Which I love chatting with you guys. So that's the hardest part. So now I'm doing my pose matching. And remember, everybody, I feel like it's been a while since we've done like an educational stream for new users and stuff like that. So maybe in May, we'll jump into some more nitty-gritty beginner level METATAILOR live streams. If you guys are interested in that, if you guys are ever interested in seeing anything in these live streams, just let me know in the comments or on the Discord. I'm the one who dictates what we show and stuff like that, with some help from the superiors, the ones up above. But otherwise, I'm always happy to take ideas and show you guys something. If there's something you're dying to see, like, hey, I have this character, I don't know how to do it, can you show it on the live stream? I'd be happy to try to see if I can't slot that in. All right, I just pose matched that. I hit about 60% accuracy. That's all you ever need, and even less sometimes to get this to fit properly. You're mostly matching that pose, and then we'll hit next step. It went a little bit wide here. We can adjust that a little bit. And for that, you know what? It went so wide right here, I'm feeling like I'm gonna use my lattice tool. I'm gonna grab my lattice in here. Let's grab these 4 points on this side and bring that in, see how well that does. That does pretty well. I like that. Let's grab these 4 points down here and just kind of not as far, but make that a little bit more of a gradual move. That's looking pretty good. Let's do the same on this side. 4 points over here. And bring those in. That's looking pretty good. Let's bring these 4 down here. And like make them a little more gradual. That's looking pretty good. I like the look of that. All right. I don't think I need to do this, but I'm going to do it just for my own sake, my own posterity here. Pull that back a little bit, hit confirm. Yep, I didn't need to. It tailored that just fine. That did really good. If I really wanted to spend time and make this perfect, I could still come in here again after all that. I could probably use my shrink wrap brush and maybe kind of shrink wrap some of that back inside like that, and just kind of match it there, bring it over to the top of the shoulder here. That's looking really good. I might just keep doing this. It's going so well. Over the top of the shoulder here. And just with a couple of quick cleanups like that, I'm able to get this hoodie looking really good on this guy. And this is not even a metahuman yet. This is just our METATAILOR model here. All right, let's go ahead and import the next piece. Cloth and accessories. We got our hoodie. Let's get our shorts, and then we'll do our shoes. Let's grab those textures on these shorts. Now, I will say I did, of course, take this into my usual Maya to take a look at this, and I split it off the metahuman. They came with a skeleton. I don't recall if it came with an actual avatar, but I believe it did come with a skeleton. And I just deleted the skeleton and exported these out as their own individual FBXs. I just have a habit of checking everything in Maya before I bring it in. That's just that's old habits. I don't think I'll ever not do that. I always like to peek at what I'm about to bring in before I bring it in. Shoes, streetwear, short has no metalness, so I didn't need that. I do have the wrong roughness, though, I think. There we go, yeah. All right, I see a question here from Bergamot Studios. Can you match clothing to skeleton, not adjusting the skeleton to the outfit? Kind of. So with shoes, absolutely. Depending on the piece of the clothing, you can. But if it's something like a jacket or a shirt, you gotta match the skeleton to the outfit. So with these shorts, I can call them pants. I'm gonna hit keep source dimensions on these to keep them a little bit smaller. But there's no way for us in this menu right here when we're first adding it to change the shape of the shorts. If I wanted to change these, I would need to take them into a program like Maya or Blender and adjust it at a vert level, because outside of the tools, we don't really want to adjust anything on vert levels. METATAILOR is trying to take that away from our artists and just make it less difficult, make it a little bit more user-friendly. So adjusting at a vert by vert level or adjusting the clothing with a skeleton is not something we're necessarily looking to do. But smaller pieces like belts, arm guards, shoulder pauldrons, shoes, shins, knee guards, stuff that's individual and not like 2 arms and 2 legs, you absolutely can. And I'll actually show you that with the shoe here in just a second, how you can adjust the shoe to the model and not the skeleton to the shoe. And a lot of times with stuff like shoes, I prefer to do it that way. All right, so I've got this in here. Let's go ahead and do starting our pose match. But this starting our pose match is more than just matching our clothes. And that's the reason, that's another reason why we don't want to have this kind of like vert by vert adjustment here. Oops, I meant to bring these part of the feet back. There we go, just bend those knees a little bit. Is because this is also helping our complex algorithm understand where to put the skin weights. It's showing you kind of where those joints are going to be. And this adjusts, because the way METATAILOR works, Bargamot, I hope you don't mind I call you Bargamot. I feel like we're close friends now. The reason why we do this is because we only have to do this once. Only once do I have to adjust the clothing to the character, just like I did here. And look, it just tucked the hoodie in. Let's use our dynamic layers. Boom, untucked it. Beautiful, amazing. Because what I can do is, now that I've done that once, I never have to do it again. So even though it was in an A pose, I moved it into a T pose, I could take this and I can find an avatar in an A pose. I can grab Trey or Bruce from MetaHuman. Trey is an older MetaHuman from before MetaHuman Creator, so sometimes he breaks. We'll cross our fingers and hope he works okay. Perfect, he works great. And look at that. It just put that clothing and pants onto a MetaHuman. If I wanted to, I could transfer that avatar again to something a completely different size, and METATAILOR makes that adjustment. Now, he is huge, so you can see it's clipping in a couple areas here. It'll take a little bit of cleanup, but we can solve something like that just by cranking up our thickness brush. And back here, I would just need to take like my push-pull and just tap, tap. Let's make my brush a little bit bigger. I always prefer a big radius. Pop, 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 pop. Sound effects are my own. Please do not use them. They're copyrighted by my mouth. All right, there we go. So by placing it on that first skeleton, you can get it to match any skeleton, any rig character, because you only had to do it once. That's the magic of METATAILOR. It's pretty much doing what parametric clothing claims to do, without all those steps, without having to create a dynamic cloth system or connecting all these nodes or transferring all these different things. METATAILOR just does it. METATAILOR just works. So this is where I'm hoping this can help this parametric pipeline. And as I do more research and start to create these videos and stuff like that, I don't have a time frame on it yet because there might be other things that take priority. But this is something I really want to take a look at and create a video series for you guys about how we can make this better for your parametric pipeline, because this just did a lot of that work for us. Oh, cool. You already answered my questions. Thank you. Amazing. I'm glad I answered that. So we've got it on this big guy. I could add the shoes to this character, but once again, he is pretty large. I don't want my default shoe to be warped by his massive feet. So I'm going to bring it back to any one of our metahumans. I'm going to bring it back to our big Kev is actually from Character Creator 4 and 5, a place where we have a plugin for. And to kind of shout back to Dress Code 3D, they taught me a lot about Clo 3D and stuff like that in their masterclass, which I really appreciated. And I did a little bit of a deep dive into Clo 3D, and it's something that I have no say over this. I have no say over what plugins we create or stuff like that, but it did pique my interest. I reached out to our team and I said, hey, it might behoove us to create a plugin for Clo 3D. It's kind of in the same area, wavelength, as Marvelous Designer. They're both owned by the same company, I found out. This is news to me. I did not know a lot about Clo 3D before last week. But it might be important to us, or like I said, behoove us to hooves, feet, the very loose pun intended. But it might be interesting to us to take a look into that. Shane's here like, Shane, I don't have any say over this. Don't take my word as law. Don't fire me. But yeah, I think it would be really interesting to kind of look at that pipeline, because you can create some really interesting clothes, of course, in Marvelous Designer, and now I learned about Clo 3D. It's something really cool to take a look at. Metalness. Did the shoes have metalness? Nope, nothing has metalness. I don't know why I have that. Next step. All right, Bargabot, my best friend. So you can see I created this shoe, and I only brought in one shoe. I did delete a shoe off the original mesh. It did come with two shoes, but I did delete one off because I always prefer to bring in one shoe or one glove or one arm bracer or one pauldron for this exact thing, where I'm matching the shoe to the model and not the model to the shoe. Now, if I get caught in a position where I still need to move the model a little bit, I still have that option. I still can start my pose match if I feel like there's a better pose in here somewhere. But whenever I'm bringing in one piece, I prefer to do it this way. And then we have the option of mirroring it when we're over in our tools. Pop. That happens sometimes. Bear with me. I saw the warning pop up on my other monitor. Sometimes it doesn't like shoes, and I don't know what I'm doing to cause it to not like shoes. Personally, it's localized to me. From our little bit of research into what I'm doing wrong, which of course probably is a lot, but in the little bit of research into what I'm doing wrong, we usually find out that the shoe crashing is on my computer only. I'll have to find that crash. Shoe explosion. Luckily, METATAILOR is very intelligent. And where'd my OBS go? There it is. Flip back over to the desktop. Plus, METATAILOR is very intelligent, and even though it crashed, it remembered that I brought these things in. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And before I flip this shoe over, I hit save. I'm going to hit mirror again. Look for my crash report over here. No crash. There it is. All right. So our character's all set. We got a little bit of a toe issue on the side here. So this could be something I can go into my shoe, redo our pose match, and just kind of adjust these toes over, see if that does it. A little bit, but I think I might just have to adjust my shoe and make my shoe bigger because it was made for a different guy, so it's struggling just a little bit. There we go, let's try that. There we go, that's looking a little bit better. All right, so all in all, it is now 10:27 on my computer. You guys have a little bit of delay, but that took me about 14 minutes to get the whole outfit in here. Now let's see how long it's gonna take me to send this over to Unreal. So I've got Unreal open, and I gotta just take a peek at our character here. We've got this one right here. We'll do this one. It is, open up our blueprint. Where are you? Blueprint anti-test, edit blueprint. Viewport, there she is. So now let's do our parametric side of it. It took us 13 minutes to upload the whole thing. Now let's do the parametric side of it. And that was a lot of fun, those 13 minutes. It wasn't, no coding, no nodes were involved in the making of this. So now let's quick grab our character right here. Let's find that avatar. It could be either live character is the one, or did I name her anti-test? I might have. She could still exist over here. Otherwise, I could always send her back. I just want to see if I have her. Ooh, there she is, older female. Transfer. Yep, there she is. All right. Good clothing, export, Unreal Engine, call her, or call the clothing parametric test. We gotta make sure Unreal's listening. Let's go wake up Unreal real quick. Receive from METATAILOR. Send outfit to Unreal. There it is. So, what was a 45-minute parametric clothing video to get this set up to go to any metahuman, it took me all of 14 minutes? I forget the exact time I said we were going to start at. 14 minutes to load the entire outfit in METATAILOR. All the textures, do minor tweaks and adjustments, still get sidetracked and show you guys some avatar flips, still get sidetracked by a crash, and then load it over to Unreal, ready to go on this character. It's in her blueprint. If I close out of this, we can see she's right here. I can play my simulation, and there she is animated in that parametric clothing. Clothing that was not made for her, clothing that I pulled in and moved across multiple avatars and then sent over to Unreal with a single click. That's how fast that was. Now you might be saying, well, parametric clothing lets me put it on any metahuman. You're absolutely right. Let's stop this. Let's take a look at this guy, see if he's different. You are Jorenzo. Ooh, our old Jorenzo. I forgot I was using Jorenzo. Let's go ahead and delete this assassin. I do have Jorenzo, so here is the blueprint for Jorenzo. Here he is. Older male character, different body shape, different head. If I wanted to, I could flip back over to METATAILOR, find Jorenzo. Go back to design. Under our avatars, I'll type in the word name Joe. There he is, change avatar. Let's see the body shape change. There we go, a little taller, a little bigger. Go back to our export, Unreal, Parametric Test 2. Send outfit to Unreal. Is it going to work? We did an update, but I am now testing this update very frivolously. I did it after I closed the blueprint. I had to wake it up again. So one of our new updates in 2.6.0.2 is that Unreal will keep listening. Before, Unreal would shut off its listening if you were in the same blueprint, so you'd have to turn on listening for every single piece of clothing you wanted or outfit you wanted to send over. Now it stays listening, much like our Unity plugin. Unity folks, you've already had this, but we updated this so Unreal matches it. The difference with me doing it right now is I did close the blueprint. So I got too excited. Why did you not work? Maybe because you're a different model. Let's see. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's grab Jorenzo. Let's go to Jorenzo. There we go. Bring you back. For users who had Bridge already installed, you can just add to Unreal again and update the bridge to the latest version. I probably didn't do that with this project. So that probably could be a reason to. Parametric 2, it's made for a different body type. There it goes. It's a little hiccup, but I fixed it just by deleting it and trying it again. But it's probably because I didn't update to 1.0 and update this project specifically. Thank you, Shane. Shane's reminding me to do that. All right, so there it is. It's on Jorenzo. The same outfit, ready to go across metahuman. So if I had a bigger metahuman, or if I had a smaller metahuman, or just, once again, completely different body shapes, I can move those clothes over in METATAILOR and send them over into Unreal, and it creates it in our content browser. I've got all these things in here in our content browser to make that easier for us. So that was the parametric look. Like I said, it's only 10:30, so I did that in less than, and flipped it and changed it in less than 20 minutes. No nodes, no coding, no understanding of Unreal. All I need to know is METATAILOR, and I figured that all out. So this is where I think A, METATAILOR is a little bit better than parametric clothing, and B, it can definitely help that parametric pipeline if you still want to use parametric clothing in your pipeline. If that's something that's still important to you, METATAILOR can just support you in that. Because now I know some of the next steps. The first step was getting the parametric clothing onto a metahuman. And then you go in and you create these cloth physics and you add these skeletal meshes and all these different things to it. Like I said, I haven't quite figured that part out yet. I didn't have a ton of time to dig into that. But that's what the YouTube series is going to look at. Is like, all right, we got it onto one metahuman. Now how do we make this work across all the metahumans? So that was something interesting we wanted to take a look at. And we could just see how this fits this character better. We have none of those outfit issues, nothing that causes any kind of clipping or anything like that. It just sits on the body better because instead of letting the metahuman creator do that math for us, and using metahuman creators algorithms, which we all know, once again, I was facetious, I was sarcastic earlier, saying it's fantastic. We all know metahuman creator has its bugs, and it doesn't work, and it's slow, and it chugs. So you're taking it out of that. You're not relying on this beta plugin, and instead you're using on METATAILOR a completely different software that is specifically designed for this. So it can usually save you and help you there. But there we go. We got our metahuman right here, all set. Let's close out of this blueprint. And let's take a look at some of these other cozy pieces now that we've kind of taken a look at that parametric side. Hypothetically, this path that I'm creating with our raincoat and our puffer jacket I'm about to bring in, you could turn both of those into parametric clothing. The whole idea, from my understanding, is anything can become parametric clothing. You just need to do that first setup first, and maybe METATAILOR can erase that first setup for you. But let's grab the rain jacket. I'm going to keep Unreal open because one of the big things I wanted to show for the Dress Code 3D puffer jacket was that it can move over to Unreal and save some time. So let's go to design. Let's do our raincoat first, our nice cozy raincoat. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our hoodie. I'm going to flip our avatar over. I like you, Joe Renzo, but we need a different avatar. Only because I want to. Oh, we got Daz avatars. Another update in 2.6.0.2 is animations and gloves now support Genesis 9 Daz avatars. So if you got a Genesis 9 Daz avatar, you can now use our glove system properly on your Daz characters. It's always worked on metahumans, and Shane can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Mixamo rigs, and definitely our own characters, the METATAILOR avatars. But now we've introduced auto rig, the character creator characters, and Genesis 9. Can you mask or weight paint parts of the outfit to prevent from stretching? We noticed when a jacket was placed on a bigger actor, zipline was attached noticeably. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, and kind of. So let's do that. Let's do that, Bergamot. You're watching. Let's specifically grab this raincoat, but we'll put it on a bigger character. I've got Boris right here. Boris is a bigger guy. Let's transfer it over. And this raincoat should have a good zipper to show this off. You hopped on the right stream here, Bergamot. Boris is... I made Boris... I can't remember if I made Boris from the character creator... Not the character creator, the meta-human creator, or if he's pre-meta-human creator. I think he might be pre-meta-human creator when I made it on the web. I think I need to do an avatar overhaul where I delete a lot of the avatars out of my inbox and grab some new ones. He's got a lot of blend shapes, it looks like. The fact that it's taking a second here to apply those, but there he goes. All right, so he's a bigger character. The pants are stretching nicely, but let's get this raincoat in and see if we can't adjust this raincoat based on what you're looking for. So we've got this character. I'm gonna go back to my desktop here. I'm gonna grab my raincoat, and let's take a raincoat fix. So the original raincoat came from Sketchfab, and it had these really cool panels over the shoulder, like these big rain guard panels, but they kind of clipped over here. And I knew they could work in METATAILOR, but I didn't want to spend the extra 15, 20 minutes to make sure those work properly. And I just wanted to show you how it works nicely. So this one sadly does not have a zipper. I could not recall. It does not have a zipper, but it does have this nice color. Let's check. Does it have a normal map? It does. Its roughness is built into an ARM I didn't clear out, but that makes it look a lot better, at least with that. So let's hit next step. And we're gonna call this a jacket and keep its source dimensions. Where's its source dimensions? Ooh, that's a little bit too big for us. Let's turn those source dimensions off. Hit next step. So one of the things I probably could have done with this jacket, didn't realize it at the time, is that it's rotated 90 degrees. It's gonna make our life infinitesimally more difficult, but not too bad. And so let's go ahead and bring this over and scale this up. So I'm really challenging myself here because we are fitting this to a bigger character. And you're able to fit this to any character, but because I'm fitting this to a bigger character, it's gonna default to like a bigger size. And so it's up to you. If the majority of your characters are a little bit larger, this might be beneficial to you. But if you've got a lot of characters who are different sizes, you might want to do it on a more neutral body type. Somewhere in between this and our muscle guy and our super skinny guy. That way it has more room to adjust and move around to. But let's go ahead and start our pose match on this bigger guy. And then we'll take a look at any sort of stretching or anything like that to avoid some of that pulling that you might be seeing. And talk about ways to possibly avoid that. So you can see I'm going item by item down the arm and just getting it into a better position. And I'm just deciding where I want that to go. I'll go a little bit farther. I was thinking I wanted to cover the hand a little bit because that feels more natural for a raincoat, to have that cuff kind of cover half the hand. But I'm going to bring it to like right there. Let's check out our elbow now, see if there's any more adjustments we need to make. That's looking pretty good. So he's not going to match perfectly. He's going to struggle a little bit, but I can pull in those hips a little bit better. I can pull these knees a little bit more forward. I can pull his butt a little bit more forward. There we go. Let's check. Well, let's pull our head up. Our head is a little low there. Let's pull you up. We can pull our shoulders up here. There we go. All right, let's peek at this other hand. I'm going to turn off mirror because I had to rotate this. It's not perfectly lined up, and it could be the model itself was asymmetrical, and I was unaware. But at least this will let me fine-tune by turning off our mirror. And I'm just looking at our other side and seeing, am I matching it pretty well? And the answer is yes. All right, let's undo the mirror. That looks pretty good. I can always preview this pose wrap and see how it's going to look on our character. It doesn't do the full tailoring, but that looked pretty good. So let's hit next step and let it do the full character. And let's take a look. And let's talk about a couple things we can do to avoid that stretching. So it's applying all those blend shapes, because once again, this is a metahuman that was created with blend shapes. So I could change his size if I wanted to. So you can see it's causing a couple small issues here and there with the clipping. It looks like the background texture of the inside is pushing through the outside because it's trying to compensate for that. I could try to adjust that with some of the thickness. And that would be better adjusted by maybe deleting some of those inside faces instead. But you can see right here, this zipper is getting, this outside zipper is getting stretched a little bit. That's on the texture though. That might be hard to adjust. But some options you have available to you as a pro user are the layer masking tools, which are right here. And so layer masking for a bigger character, it could give you the option to kind of keep that into its a closer shape. Could toggle off apply blend shapes on the avatar. They might still, yeah, you're right. They could still be turned on. I didn't even think about that. Nope, it's not baked into mesh, and they're not even in here. So whatever blend, it's probably all those facial blend shapes. Yeah, they're not baked into mesh. It just wants to load all of these. So this is probably pre-metahuman creator that we have all these blend shapes in here. One too many. Is it under tailoring though? Is that what you're talking about? No, I didn't think there was another button. Unless there's another button I'm not remembering, Shane. I think it just does that. All right, so there's layer masking. And so layer masking works in a really interesting way. Let's go ahead and, how can I kind of show that off? How would I approach this? So this is a tough question, Bergamot, because I haven't necessarily had to do this. So layer masking allows you to kind of maintain the original shape of something. So if I hit Sculpt Original, you'll see there is that kind of zipper right there. I can see that in this full island kind of click right here. I can adjust this zipper, and I can paint this zipper with all of that. But the problem then becomes, when I hit confirm, it brings that back to its size, but it also keeps it into its position. So it's now clipping through the shirt. So the next thing I'd have to do is, once I adjusted that zipper to the proper size so it wasn't getting pulled by the stomach, is then use my grab tool to adjust it outside of that. So that's where I said kind of. Yes and kind of. So now I'd grab my grab tool. I can go ahead and hit Sculpt Original again. And so I see that zipper in there. And I still have this option for full island. So full island lets you grab like a whole mesh body like this. And you can see I can pull this whole zipper out. And there it is. I've pulled it outside of the body now. I confirm. And the rest of the body will just get painted right back in there. But now it's no longer being stretched. Of course, these blend shapes. 500,000 blend shape avatars from MetaHuman. Because you need to be able to move this one muscle right here. It's really important in the animation that this one muscle moves. All right, so you can see that now this is the appropriate size. It's not stretched or warped like this one over here, but we have the new issue of it's no longer on the body. So now, like, it takes a little bit more playing with it to grab our grab tool. I'd go sculpt layered now that I've got that pulled out. And I'd start making small adjustments and getting that into position. So it takes a little bit of work for those bigger characters. What we're hoping to do, depending on what you're looking at, if you want to drop in the Discord, I'd be happy to tackle it and take a look at it with you over the Discord, is the other thing that's coming, the update that we've always been kind of talking about that we're working on right now, is the rigidity brush. And the rigidity brush might solve this issue as well, just depending on where this zip line is and all that other stuff on your character. That might help it as well, but unless I see that character, I can't say for 100% certain. So I'm going to change from full island to surface now. And with surface, I'm going to grab my radius and bring it down to about half, but surface won't reach over to the coat. Surface will stay attached to this mesh as well, but full island was kind of doing the whole thing. And you can see surface, I can start to run into some issues if I'm not careful with how I'm pulling it and my fall off radius. But now, if I make that a little bit smaller, I can probably grab like, let's see, gotta find that nice sweet spot in here, where I'm pulling that in a little bit closer and adjusting it that way. But that's one way to adjust it. But all depends on how that texture is applied, how that mesh is applied, and stuff like that. So that's the tough part of it. But you can see I kind of kept that, or I've adjusted the warp now a little bit onto this character's zipper right here. It's not perfect, and if I spent more time on it, I could get a better look to it. But that's one way to start approaching it, using that layer masking tool creatively, or what will hopefully soon become a rigidity brush. We're not getting rid of layer masking, we're adding rigidity brush to our tool setup. But using those creatively could help you with that kind of zip line. We do have some tools in dev for reducing some of the stretching further in target areas, though they're not in a demonstratable state at the moment. There you go. We're working on some other stuff to help you with that, Bergamot. On top of everything I just showed you, maybe something in METATAILOR version 9.0. That's a lie, I don't know. But maybe in the near future, we'll be working on something that'll avoid that stretching. But that actually did a pretty good job looking at it at surface level. Some small adjustments here and there, like I said. But compared to like this side, let's get this these back faces out of the way. I'm just kind of pushing these back faces in right now. I call them, they're not back faces, they're the inside of the coat, the mesh of the inside of the coat. Back faces is a misnomer, because back faces are inherently not rendered. But we can see this zipper that's more warped versus this one that I kind of cleaned up and adjusted. It's not warping across his stomach as much anymore. Whoa! Camera zoomed into the same moment. Let's hit confirm and let it do its magic. So once again, yes, kind of. Bigger characters are tough because you are stretching clothing that was not designed for them. That's going to happen across programs. That's going to happen in the parametric clothing as well, because those UVs were painted to match a character of a different body size. So it's just like stretching a JPEG. And that's essentially all it's doing at the end of the day. It's just taking that JPEG and breaking it down to where those vertices are, and it's stretching it, but a little bit more uniformly, not as just wide horizontal stretch. So you can do things to counteract that as best you can, but just because it's painted in the texture and how it's designed to go onto a bigger character, it does become a little bit tougher for those bigger characters. But it's doable. It's not impossible. And there we go. All right, I'm going to delete this raincoat version off this guy, though, and let's go and test it on our full body character right here, or our METATAILOR male. Thank you. Probably would make outfits marvelous without rigid parts. Work in M-cloth and add rigid details later. Wider, how button meshes behave. Yeah. Exactly. And if you make it for one big character, if it is designed for one big character, you can then flip it across a whole bunch of other big characters. That would be a lot easier because it's warping it less. It's causing there's less degradation across the model. So if you make one for a bigger character, the rest should be able to follow, and you could adjust it, even if the body sizes are a little bit different. No, you're good, Bergamot. Never apologize. You're good. If you saw my emails, woof, woof, woof. All right, go back up to the top here. Let's delete that original jacket because I want to see if it would be pushing those insides out on a more, like I said, more neutral bodied character. Or if that's something I really should go into Maya and delete those insides. I'm leaning towards I really should go into Maya and delete those insides. But we'll find out collectively together. Jacket. Nope, nope, nope. It was huge. I recall now. And if you guys are unaware, how I try to find my best positioning for this, I always look at the neck. I always start in the neck and the shoulders. To me, that is kind of how you trickle down the rest of the body. I always start with this triangle right here, looking at the neck, looking at the shoulders. If I get those to match scale-wise, or if I'm comfortable with those scale-wise, I feel like I can fit the rest of the body really easily. So that's always what I'm aiming for, and you can see it fits the neck and the shoulders really nicely, and it's fitting the body excellently as well. Now the last step I have to do is start my pose match and get these arms into position here. There we go. And this time, I think I nailed it a lot better with the 90-degree rotation. Pop, 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 pop. There we go. Pull that back a little bit. There we go. Wrong one. There we go. Looking nice, looking good. All right, let's click that mirror off for a moment. I said I was doing good, and then we can see I lied. Turn the mirror back on. Pull our shoulders in and up, over. Yes, I like that. Preview our pose wrap. Looking good. Confirm. Next step. So you can see it's clipping a little bit here. Spin around to the front. Not as much. Still would probably benefit from deleting this inside mesh here. A lot easier to fix on this character. But now that we've built it on this character, once again, let's see how bad that stretching is compared to if we put it back on our larger character. Let's make the adjustment real quick and see if it ends up creating the same thing. So it acted differently, which is really interesting. It feels like it's really wrapping around the stomach and the butt here in a different way. But some of that stretching doesn't feel as egregious. It just looks really bad back here, and it looks odd up here. So that's interesting. It's interesting how it is transferring between those two. I don't do a lot of switching back and forth between the metahuman avatar to avatars of, besides like super bulky orc and stuff like that, super drastic. Sorry for asking so many questions. Barkamot, this is why we have the live streams. Do not apologize. I want the questions. You fill my time. I love it. Please come to every live stream. Please, can gizmos of joints use local orientation, not world? I don't know, Shane. Can they? I say that because I have put in that request. That is something that is on our request list to be able to switch from what I consider local orientation that you're calling it, or object orientation versus world orientation, being able to switch between those, or even like a component orientation, once again, boiling it back down to how I use Maya. But yeah, adjusting orientation, stuff like that. Not yet. Is something that I would like to happen, because it is very beneficial, because you saw kind of all the little doohickey and playing with. It's definitely something. I'm beating up Shane today. I'm sorry, Shane. I'm sassy today. Please don't fire me. We apologize for everything in Japan. I know, you're good. And I come from the Midwest, and I say, absolutely don't. Don't do that. Accessories do use local currently, but not particular joint. I did see, yeah, accessories do use locally. And accessories, we did update accessories, but I wasn't going to show that today. All right, let's get that puffer jacket. So it's 10:54. So we're going to go a little bit past, which is absolutely fine, but I wanted to show off this puffer jacket from Dress Code 3D because this was made in Clo 3D. I've got a couple iterations of it. Let me take a look at my iterations and kind of talk through some of them. Oh, I deleted the other iterations. I can download one iteration that I have in my email that I had, but there was, so with Dress Code 3D, not Dress Code 3D, I'm sorry, Dress Code 3D, amazing site. That is the artist site. Clo 3D, I did find the puffer jacket, and I made some adjustments to the first one before Mahalit thankfully sent me the one that they had. I haven't taken a look at that one. But what was interesting is it either had a like 100 million poly version, and so I cut that down. I cut that way down to below like 50,000 polys, nice and low, but it didn't look great. So then I went middle of the road, and I reduced it to about, I want to say about 100,000 polys. It's still pretty big. It gave me all these wonderful textures that will apply, but we're going to give it a shot. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the shorts and clear the shoes, and we're going to import this. Learning Clo 3D and understanding Clo 3D did take me a long time. That was the toughest part about all of this, and then actually trying to reduce the size of the puffer. It's not giving me a warning that I see, which is pretty good, but the detail on this is really nice. See, there was two things. A, it was not an A pose. It was a completely arm down at your side pose, which, as we all kind of know, that would cause some issues with the skin weighting. So I had to bring it into a T pose and then reduce the poly count. And I think that took me like 3 hours. I started at like 9 p.m. and then by midnight, I think I finally got it to a point where I'm like, I'm happy with this. And so this is that iteration. So here it is. I am sure if somebody was better at Clo 3D than I am, they could have done a better job than I did. And you can see the normal map, I clearly didn't bake it out right, but that's me. Hope MCloth, yeah, I hope MCloth does go big. Marvelous designer and all that stuff. But yeah, you can see I did not bake this right. If you were better at Clo 3D, you could do better than I did. But this was the best I could do from using Clo 3D for about, well, 3 hours, but I learned that part of it in about 30 minutes, and then the rest of it was me just fighting with it. It does have ambient occlusion textures. I don't know if it's actually doing anything, so I'm adding it, though. There it is, ambient occlusion. Why did I lose it? So, it looks pretty cool. It got this cool puffer jacket. Next step, but this is directly from Clo 3D. Next step. Let's pull it up into this model right here, pull it back. The gray on white is always a little tough. I probably should have changed the hue to save myself and save my sanity. I will say that this puffer jacket was designed for a female character. It was modeled on a female character. Not that it matters, but this is a different body shape. That's pretty good. Next step. Pull our arms up a little strange. We can adjust that though. Grab our grab tool. Nice big brush, go for surface. Ooh, there's that inside mesh. The devil. Oof. I'll do that. That one arm looking pretty good. I didn't know that was disconnected here. Let's hit cancel. Here, let's hit reset. And instead of surface, let's do world space. And world space will grab it a little bit differently. You can see world space keeps that connection. I did not know it was unmerged. World space is working better in a lot of ways, though. There's that. Just trying to see where our arm is. There's that. Across the top. Onto our bad normal side. It's all my fault. Nothing wrong with Clo 3D doing this. And it still matches our cozy theme here. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Get a little bit more realistic. I wonder if a two-sided extension for surface fall off might have some merit. I'd have to see how that works. Because how do you imagine that being different from like world space right now? Unless it's specifically attacking the inside faces. That way I could just take away their visibility. When I exported this, I hit thin wall. I don't know if that makes a difference. But yeah, that looks pretty good. But being able to affect the two-sided part of it, I think that there's worth to that tool depending on how it works. I just can't imagine how it works because there's not much out there like it that I can think of. But there's that puffer jacket. But what's really cool about all this is, besides all that I just did, is it can be animated now. And if I wanted to, I could flip this over to where is our older female. I'll type it in here. Transfer. Maybe a backface cull toggle for brush could help. So racer view, that's a good idea, but once again, these aren't necessarily back faces in the same sense of a back face, because a back face is the other side of the normal, and you can see through that. It's not rendered. This is just another mesh, so instead of having one side of the mesh here, it actually has another mesh inside that's being affected and clipping through that original mesh, because the jacket is sculpted to have both the inside and the outside, and in, what do you call it, a Clo3D and Marvelous Designer, they give it weight and they have it imitate that fluff in between for this puffer jacket, so it has both those sides. A back face, I don't know how that would work. Like backface culling is not like they have that in Maya to kind of not show the back faces, but yeah, maybe. Idea would be it would check a short distance for nearby faces, then spread normally like a surface from there. That could definitely work. Looking forward to worldwide payment opportunities. Absolutely. We take Visa. I know that's not super worldwide, but that is an option. So there's a little hiccup under her arms here. We could probably try to clean up for just this model specifically. Where I would probably grab something like our, once again, it's going to be an issue with the actual piece itself, sculpt layered. And then I would grab our radius, push pull, and I would make sure it's set to surface. Just kind of that. Same on this side, just kind of, oh no, let's hold down shift because that's going to be the inside, push, and then pull this guy right there. So yeah, something like a surface fall off where it's only that, like right now, I guess would be a really great use of that, where I'm trying to pull this armpit away from the inside, or vice versa, only get the inside. But there you can see I kind of clean that up a little bit. This is a meta human, so let's go, where's female? Walking, that's looking pretty good. Let's send this over to Unreal. We still have it open, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show how quickly we get this Clo3D over to Unreal. Unreal. Grab her. All right, grab her. Grab her. Edit in Blueprint. Put my Blueprint over. Receive from METATAILOR. Go to our viewport because it's prettier. Delete the clothes that are there. Wow. METATAILOR. Export. Unreal. Clo3D test. Send outfit to Unreal. And there it is. In Unreal, close out of our blueprint. There it is on our character. There's our animation. Whoa. Whoa. I always hit the wrong buttons because I'm used to Maya. So a couple little issues there where it's binding there. If I was to pull in physics or add physics or clean up the mesh a little bit better on my side, we could give it a shot. That's pretty good overall. I mean, like I said, this issue here is issue on me. That's not Clo3D, that's not the artist, that's an issue on my understanding of Clo3D. That's not METATAILOR, that's not Unreal. That's all on me. And knowing that that's me, that did really well overall. Suica card support went. So cool, there is that. Let me see, can I get that? Let me take a peek at and see if I have a better version of this. this exact puffer. Let's see if there's a better way to export this. Clothing. Oh, this is older female, that's why. Let's delete you. Let's grab a better pull. Sen and Chihiro Spirit Away. Cool. Oh, yes, yeah, absolutely. I love Studio Ghibli. Or Ghibli. I apologize. I know I'm probably not saying it right. I teach animation outside of METATAILOR, and I force all my students to watch the Studio Ghibli movies with me. I say Ghibli. I apologize once again. My favorite is Porco Rosso, by far, followed by Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. And then The Wind Rises. Those are probably my top 3. I love all of them, though. Oh, very cool. Okay, so this is the actual FBX from Mihaela that they sent me. It does give me the warning. Poly count exceeds 100,000. So it could be very high poly. So here at the end of the stream tonight, everybody, we're going to attempt to crash METATAILOR. Let's give it a shot. I did not open this up in Maya in any way, shape, or form. I did not prepare this for what we're about to handle or work on. Oh, not start pose match. I need to move the jacket first. So I have no clue. It's over 100,000, somewhere between 100,000 and infinity number of polygons. Here's the actual puffer jacket from the masterclass from Mihaela. Loading wheels with threatening auras. That was the name of my punk rock band. Landing that right there. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I turned off mirroring. Now I'm going to match the other side, because it looks like it's asymmetrical. Or I rotated it wrong. Both are true. Both could be true. All right. Preview our pose wrap. So the one downside to this is because it's in an A pose and not a T pose, and I don't know why I did preview pose wrap knowing it has 100,000 polygons. This is probably going to crash it. Is that it's probably going to pull these insides. So it's just second nature, and I'll flip over to just my head as we let this load for a while. Because it's just second nature for me to always test when it's in A pose and it's really close and tight on these sides. It's just second nature for me to test that preview pose wrap and pull those arms up to make sure that this part doesn't snag and grab with it. That's what I'm always looking for. It's just muscle memory at this point. Is there cemetery mode to move joints? So symmetry. So symmetry is default in all the joints. Symmetry is not on our tools. Symmetry is. I can turn symmetry on and off for the joints. I'm trying to think of other places where there's not symmetry. Really, just the tools is the only place where we don't have symmetry. Tools and lattices. But when you're placing your joints, when you're importing clothes and not when you're importing avatars. When you're importing avatars, there's no symmetry. You have to kind of land that yourself. But there is symmetry for this importing clothes portion, and there is that's kind of where the symmetry is. There's not symmetry for importing avatars and tools. I'm assuming cemetery means symmetry. That's a tough one. And as Shane said, symmetry is only for the x-axis. I've never needed it for a different axis. If somebody has a use case where they see symmetry for another axis, that could be interesting. All right. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. Here it goes. It's attempting it. Did it stop? It looks like it stopped. It moved it. It took that long to move the arms from here to here, where me flipping the camera was all the time it took. Let's just hit confirm and next step. But it did it, which means it's possible. All right, we'll let that calculate. Yeah, if anybody can find a use case for symmetry outside of X, because everything is X, yeah. Z forward, Y up, X left and right. I'm pretty sure. Without having my little arrows in the bottom corner, I'm guessing off the top of my head. But yeah, everything is Z forward, X left and right. So there's no reason for Z symmetry forward and backwards, and there's no reason for Y symmetry. But like I said, if you've got a use case, I'd be interested to see it. You could already, like from the textures and the normal maps and all this stuff, this already looks better. Clo3D things seem to be X forward for some reason, though. That's fun. Yeah, it's true. Why not? Why not make it different? Unreal is Z up, Clo3D is X forward. Every other 3D program in the world is Y up, Z forward. All right, I'll let that run. As that's running, I'm going to share the link to our live stream, or not a live stream, our Discord. Invite to server. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes, there she goes. We all laughing here about our typos. Amazing. Yeah, so make sure you join our Discord. I'd love to see what you're working on, Bargamot. Please share it. If it is something you're willing to share, I'd love to also show it on next week's stream. If you want to drop it in our server, we'd love to show what you're working on in METATAILOR. We love showing community creations. Today, I gave it to Dress Code 3D because I was really honored to be in their masterclass on Monday. Go follow their Instagram page. Go look at their website. They'll have other masterclasses where they walk you through their steps on how to take stuff out of Clo3D and get it into Unreal for that same level of quality that you see in their Instagram posts. Really great artists. I hope to work with them again soon. Keep an eye out on our YouTube. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more live streams like this one. But also, like I said, I'm going to be digging into parametric clothes and seeing how METATAILOR can adapt to that pipeline. So if you want to see those videos when those come out, make sure you like, subscribe. Like I said, last week was a really great week because I got to learn a lot and study a lot and stuff like that. So we're going to take that into a little deeper look. Of course, this live stream, Discord, that's where we announce all the new things. You guys find out first 99% of the time. Discord is the next ones to find it out. And then eventually we send out an email to all those folks who don't want to hang out in our really cool community. We'll get them over to us. On top of that, our Discord has sweepstakes where you can get a year of Pro for free. Our Discord has the polls where you can give us your opinions and thoughts and stuff like that. We host AMAs out of our Discord, so please join us there. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll see you all next Saturday. I'm making sure. Next Saturday is the 18th. We got no holidays coming up. So yeah, I think I'm clear for the next 4 Saturdays. I was always worried with the Saturday nights that I'd have to adjust it or move a day here and there, but so far, so good. So next Saturday, we'll be here. Follow along on our YouTube or on our Discord to see what the theme will be. As soon as I know what the theme will be, I got to make sure I got everything ready to go, and we'll share that. But yeah, I'm going to sit here. I want to see this apply to this character. I don't think I'll get it over to Unreal. While it's doing that, we can even fire up Maya and see how many faces this has. See what sign of cursed energy we have. Cursed energy detecting. Oh, there it goes. All I had to do was open Maya and I got scared. Here we go. And there it is. It's on our character. See a small hiccup there and a small hiccup there, probably once again due to the inside faces. As you can see, it kind of creates that puffery inside face, which I guess I gave myself the most challenging jacket I possibly could. But if we wanted to, we could still export this over to Unreal. I said I wasn't going to be able to, but now I'm pretty sure it's just a couple people hanging out. Let's go ahead and try it. Let's give it a shot. Why not? If I disappear, my computer blue screened. Thank you for hanging out. On the off chance that this is the last time we see each other because my computer explodes. All right. While that does that, and I open up Maya on top of everything else because I'm a sadist. Sadist? Masochist. I'm not hurting you, I'm hurting me. Is mCloth working online or only connecting by connecting to the server? So, there is no mCloth. We're not connected to mCloth. This is just a straight FBX, because my understanding of mCloth, I don't know a lot about Marvelous Designer or Cloth3D. It's a very new area that I'm looking into learning more about. And mCloth, if I'm not familiar, is how it kind of takes the idea of the texture weights, like the weight of leather versus the weight of silk and stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is just an FBX. It's not looking at that mCloth at all. I'm not connected to Cloth3D. I'm not connected to Marvelous Designer. I'm not on their website or anything like that. I only have a 15-day free trial that I was playing with. So this is all just FBXs exported out of Cloth3D and Marvelous Designer. All right, here's our puffer. All right, so not as bad as my original one. It is 398,926 faces. So about 400,000 faces. When I pulled this down into my project into Cloth3D, it was 1 million faces. So we are doing better. We are half. Oh, sorry, METATAILOR. So yeah, METATAILOR. Is METATAILOR connected to the web? Shane can probably answer this better than I can. But you do need to have an internet connection for METATAILOR to open. It is a standalone application, but that's how we kind of connect to your account and all that other stuff to check to make sure if you're a pro user and things along those lines. Just like Maya needs internet access, Adobe needs internet access, you need to be able to prove that you have your licensing and stuff like that. So, like I said, Shane is... No, it's not... The amount of... Bergamot. The amount of mental gymnastics I have to do to to flip between MetaHuman and METATAILOR and all that other stuff without mixing it up and saying the wrong thing, it is hard. And doing it over type and stuff like that quickly while I'm talking to get your point across, that's impossible. So don't worry about it. I experience that brain suffering every day. I thought I hit receive. Did I not hit receive? I thought I had hit receive. I also was messing around with stuff and didn't check to see if it failed. METATAILOR is actually a different thing too. METATAILOR connects to the web on a boot to check your login stuff, but it's not like render streaming. Yeah, there we go. Said it better than me. I am not paying attention to see if it's failing. I gotta focus a little bit more closely here. All right, let's do this and this and send outfit. Failed during import process, check logs. Failed on the UE side. Huh. Interesting. I don't know why I failed, but we almost got there. We did it with my version. But something about this version, and we'll discover what it was, didn't want to send over to Unreal. But we gave it a shot, but it was failing on the Unreal side, not on the METATAILOR side. So we will, and this is a big piece that I did not make, that I did not vet. So there's a couple things that could be causing it. Try it one last time. I got the little green check on the Unreal side. But for some reason, odd. Oh well. Gave it four solid chances. We'll take a look into it, why this, it could be something to do with the high polys. It could be like I said, I just downloaded this FBX from Dress Code 3D without double checking anything, which I'm sure there's something that I did wrong here. But we'll take a look at it and see what's going on. Because like I said, I want to dig into a couple of these things. But once again, that is it for tonight. Thank you guys for hanging around afterward and, what's the word I'm looking for? Amusing me. That's the wrong word. What's the word? Just hanging out with me as I explore different things and play with different things in METATAILOR. That's it for tonight, everybody. Once again, follow us on Discord, hit that like, subscription, notification bell, all that stuff, and I'll see you next week. Go get dressed.